in the 60s lived in Soho, but it was super cheap. Nobody wanted to live in Soho, right? Then it became like super expensive. Now it's just like, Chanel and, well, whatever, Louis Vuitton, and you know what? It's completely uninteresting. There's nothing interesting. So, the smart, cool people are always going to go where the other guys aren't. So I would say, I saw this interview with Tim Cook, from Apple once, right after Steve Jobs passed. And they said, "What kind of guy are you?" And he goes, "Well, I realized one thing in life. Yes, I realized that in life, if you do what everybody else is doing, that doesn't usually lead to really good outcomes. You really have to sort of think like for yourself and just swim against the tide go against the grain." And I think he's right. Like just be there is if everybody's telling you to go buy real estate, do the opposite. Do exactly the opposite. That's probably a really good general rule, you know? Um,
I
and
100% agree.
if everybody's saying start a company, don't start a company. If everybody's saying get a serious job, then don't get a serious like the crowd is always wrong, The crowd's always doing the exact wrong thing, I think.
Agreed.
And yeah, I sort of like in my kind of path through life, I've kind of always just done my own thing, like I didn't, I, I didn't do something because, everybody said this is the right thing to do. Like I wanted to get a PhD in math. People were like, even including my parents were like, "Why are you doing that? Like, why do you need?" I was like, "What? I like math. Like, I'd like to do some more complex math." And I'm like, like people are like, "Well, what are you gonna do with that?" And I was like, "I have no idea. I don't care. I like it. I like math." So now, of course, when I was a completely starving Stanford graduate student, and like my friends were getting jobs at Booz Allen Hamilton, and as consultants making absurdly high salaries of $100,000 a year back then, and I was like, just eating ramen and solving equations. Yeah, I looked like I might have been doing the wrong trade, but it eventually worked out, like, so I think that, I think you gotta go against the grain, do what everybody is not doing. That's my advice in general.
No, and yeah, look at the outcomes it's had in your life, 10 plus exits, now early to Bitcoin, incredibly successful entrepreneur and investor. I think that's a good motto to always be thinking about is go against the crowd and go against what everyone is
Well,
thinking.
Buffett said it too. He said, "Look," he said, "one thing you should do is follow your inner voice. You have some inner voice that tells you something. Actually follow that, Don't do what everybody else is telling you to do, but just try to like, well, your inner voice and just kind of have fun. Like, part of my thing, like with Twitter, people are like, "Well, how did you get so big on Twitter?" I'm like, because I have a lot of fun in Twitter. I really enjoy making these videos and doing stupid stuff and making jokes and making people laugh. I'm a little bit of a
Yeah,
stand-up comedian too, So
you
I think,
are. Yeah.
it's sort of like I said, like the other I put a tweet. I said yesterday, I said, there's two kinds of people in Bitcoin. There's people who check the feed every minute, and then there are people who pretend that they don't care and they check their feed in secret every minute. But, it's like, oh yeah, yeah. I'm like that. I'm checking every month. So like,
So
I'm
true.
both. No, it's like
Yeah.
I only every minute in bull markets, like checking in the bear markets. And
Yeah.
to me, that's the fun thing about this community is like we're all in this together in a way, and we're all in it separately, but we're all kind of living through the same thing. We all have the same emotions. We have the exactly same, fears. Um, Everybody says, "Yeah, one Bitcoin, one Bitcoin." And really, really, you say that, but when the market's down, you don't say that anymore, right? So